Thank you. Looks like I'm the last man standing here today. I'd like to congratulate the chairman on his retirement and thank you for your service and great work. Many of the streamlining reforms in MAP 21 were optional, and you as state officials have the choice to take on new environmental authorities. I'm going to ask all of you to touch on this. Are there any optional MAP 21 reforms that as a state you are choosing not to use, and if so, why not?
There are none that we're choosing not to use. Some of them are taking a little bit to progress through our state legislature, honestly. As was mentioned earlier, we've had delegation for categorical exclusions for quite some time. It's been very successful. We made a conscious decision at that time, because what we have to do at the state legislature is waive sovereign immunity. It sounds scary. In fact, it's not that. It's really, at the end of the day, won't result in any change in the way we operate. And so we only went forward with the CADXs. So now we're working with trying to obtain sponsors and move through our legislature to get the full delegation authority for EAs and EISs as well. So we applaud the Congress for providing flexibility to the states, but also holding us accountable for administering and adhering to the laws of this country. So I believe application and decision-making closer to the customer usually yields the best results.
Ms. Peterson?
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. The portion that we are not pursuing, the only portion we're not pursuing is complete delegation. While other states may want to do that, we find that FTA, FHWA as partners at the table with us is the most appropriate way for us to move forward, and we also have worked with our Attorney General's office on the cost and benefits of taking on that risk and liability. So we choose to prefer to go the programmatic categorical exclusion way, but not pursue full delegation.
Swanker?
Yes, I don't think there are any that we were choosing not to pursue, although the conditional requirements for the combining of planning and NEPA documents is something that, we can move forward with the planning document without and get some NEPA-like decisions out of that planning document before we get the NEPA document, to where we don't use the MAP 21 provision because of the conditions, but we try to achieve the same effect going somewhat around that and getting some early decision making. So it's not that we don't choose to use it. It's just that not as applicable as we'd like for it to be. Thank you,
Mr. Kramer.
Well, certainly as a local agency, I can't speak for the state, but already having the pleasure of delegation, we're certainly the staffing levels for that and keeping up with the workload is something that's very important within the state, and we continue to look forward to continuing improvements in each version of the bill as it helps us work through this process.
Mr. Kramer, when I read that the Fish and Wildlife Service took 8 times longer than the deadline in the Endangered Species Act, I couldn't help but remember my days as mayor. I was running for office in 1999, and the main street in downtown Hazleton was getting a total reconstruction. And I thought, how lucky was I? I'm running for office. I'm going to get elected mayor, and people are going to think that I actually had something to do with this new downtown. Well, I won 1 term and served. I won my 2nd term and served. I won my 3rd term, and the project still wasn't done. Because of the delays, that $10 million project ended up being a $26 million project, and the scope of the project was drastically cut down because of all those delays. Now, we all know that we need to be investing in infrastructure now. As we delay projects, whether it's due to insufficient funds or burdensome studies and reviews, the project becomes more expensive. Can you tell me about the cost overruns of your project?
The construction cost that we're looking at now after this is probably $700 million to $1.4 billion higher in order to finish a 16-mile project.
Yeah. Again, I want to thank you all for what you do. It's not easy work, but I certainly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.